Hi, this is Rose from Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on a really simple necklace, which I call a bar necklace, because we're going to make a bar from some German style wire, which the beads are going to sit on, and then they will be attached to some chain. We're also going to make a little chain dangle as well. So let's turn down and we'll show you what I'm going to work with. Okay, here is what we are going to work with. This is the remaining beads from my rhodonite bead mix, which isn't much. It's just this big focal bead. Isn't this gorgeous? This is going to be our focal. And these two brass spacers. We're also going to add some crystals and some pearls and bead caps. Because we're going to make a dangle, we have a ball head pin and we have some jump rings to hook everything together with. And then down here I have some 18 gauge wire and a magnetic clasp, as well as some chain reaction. This is chain reaction number 12 from Jessie James Beads, of course. Now, before you start on one of these necklaces, once you've chosen your beads, you want to check to see if they will fit on your wire. I have already checked all these beads, and some of my bead caps didn't want to fit on. But a lot of the times with something like that, all you need to do is to ream out your bead cap a little bit, because a lot of times when the coating is put on them, because these are all antiqued, and what happens then is they put like a black coating on and then it rubs back off. But sometimes that coating gets into the holes of your bead caps, so you need to ream that back out. So anyway, what we need to do to start is simply to get a length of wire. Now this isn't going to be a long one, but because we're not sure how long it's going to be, we may want to sort of give ourselves a little bit of a guesstimate by lining our beads up so that we have some kind of an idea of the length of what they will end up being. So let's do that right now. So of course this is our focal. And then we have I'm going to have a crystal on either side of that. Then the big brass spacer. I really like those. Aren't those pretty? The pearls. And then a small crystal. Now the crystals, these crystals and these pearls are going to have bead caps on them. So we're going to need to add just a teeny bit of space for bead caps. So that's probably good like that. So we'll need at least this much wire. But there's one other thing. We need to have enough for the loops on either side. So we want about this much. Give yourself at least an inch for your loops. So like here. Maybe even a little bit more than an inch would probably not hurt anything. So the first thing you want to do is straighten your bar out. I just do it by rubbing it through my fingers and trying to fill all the bumps. See, this one has a little bit of a bow right here, so we want to ease that through. And then we need to decide, are we going to make a wrapped loop on the end? Are we just going to make a simple loop? Are we going to make a decorative loop with a double loop? Now, if you're going to make a decorative loop with a double loop, you actually needed to give yourself even more room. I'm just going to make a small wrapped loop. So we'll bend it over. Get your your round nose pliers or your bell making pliers. I'm going to use this bell making plier with using the smaller of the two. Wrap it around, bring it down, bring it over. Now you want to check to make sure you've got it good. As you can see, I do have a nice lollipop shape here. So we will take hold of that. Now that I've got that made, I'm going to just hold it with my chain nose pliers and just pull this around in a couple of loops. Now, because I got it short here, I'm going to take hold of another pair of pliers and take hold of it to bring it the rest of the way around. And sometimes what you need to do is ease it around with your pliers by just getting the last tip of your wire with the angle of your others, and just ease it all the way around, and then make sure it's tucked in. Okay, now that we have this piece done, the next step, of course, is just to put your beads onto your wire. This could go a little bit more this way. There we go. Finished. So let's now put the beads on. We're going to start with this little crystal. One of the smaller bead caps that I have in the dish here. The pearl. Another small one. This really cool spacer. One of these bigger bead caps. This is for the bigger crystal. Come on. The big crystal. Other bead one. Our focal. Oh, excuse me. This is not where we're going to put this on yet. We are going to make a dangle on this. And to do that dangle, we're going to use some more of the JJB Chain beads strand. We're going to put a little chain through here on either side of the focal for it, so it hangs down, and then the dangle will come down below that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this crystal off and cut the chain off on both sides. I'm going to want these 4 pieces of chain here, and I think that's going to be enough. So we will bring it up here and here. And yeah, that should be plenty, especially since I'm going to put them on with jump rings on either side here. So let's cut these little bits off here. We don't need this piece with crystal on it. And we want to stop right here on this piece here. So we'll put this aside. And now what we need to do is to slide this on. Now I'm fairly positive it will not go on the wire, and I'm quite correct. So what we want to do is to put a jump ring. My jump rings are hanging onto my magnetic clasp. It does love to hang on to things. So now we have these our little oval jump rings. We'll open this one up. Put it through the chain. And we'll just hook the chain, hook it directly to the bar. Though actually maybe it's easier not to do it that way because it'll just slide right on after I finish putting this on. Tighten that up on there. We'll put this side onto the bar. And then our focal. Now the next step is, of course, to put the jump ring on the other side and hang it over here. So let's get the other side on its jump ring and slide it on. Now this one we may wish to put it right onto the bar, because in order to slide it on, what you would need to do is bring the focal up with you when you bring it in to slide on, and then it will to put it on. So sometimes, and in fact I am going to do that, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll tighten this baby up. Now if you've never used oval jump rings, it's the only thing I ever use, and that is because your split is on the side, so gravity is not going to yank it so that it brings it. See here how that's going to look. Now we'll start on putting the other side on. But gravity is not going to bring our oval jump rings split to the bottom, which it does on a regular round jump ring. So you can see the split is right here in the side. So the weight will pull to top and bottom, and then the side does not have the weight on it. Consequently, it generally will not, you don't have to worry about it having something, especially if it's a really thin something, slide out of your jump ring. So now we go and we're going to put the other side on. Of course, we're just repeating our pattern from this side. Oh, they're over here. Okay, and here is what our bar is going to look like. Now we just need to do the wrap on this side. Because we only did 2 wraps over here, we only want 2 over here if at all possible. So we want to make a smaller bin, the bin not as far up as we would with a normal one, so we're going to get our pliers in at a lower spot and do our bend. Now that our bend is done, we want to, of course, make the same kind of loop on this side. Make sure you're going in the same direction. If you're not quite, it's all right, because you're you can naturally just bend the wire around till it fits better. Bring her over here, and you can see we have our lollipop shape. So then we want to hold with our pliers right here where the groove comes together and wrap. Now, which side is front? Okay. Get that in. We clip this excess wire off, making sure not to clip anything extra, because that's not hard to do. I've done it many times. Tuck this last little bit of wire in. Come on down here. Now you can see my loops are a teeny bit off from each other, so just give it a teeny twist till they are right there. Now we have 2 more things we need to do. We need to, well, 3 technically because of putting the clasp on, but we need to put, do our little dangle here, and then we need to hook the chain on and put the clasp on. So the next thing we're going to do is make up the dangle. Now the dangle isn't hard. What we're going to do is use this ball head pin here. It's just going to be the crystal, bead caps, and the pearl. Now see, this is going to dangle right down here from this little hook, this little bead place right here. So let's get the bend started. We don't need as big a bend as this one, so we're going to go with our stepped bell making pliers this time when we go to make our loop. We want to bend it in. Go with our small, bring it around. Check to see where she's laying at. I think that one needed to bend up, so I did that. Now the next thing we're going to do is, because I don't want to use another jump ring, because I don't want this loop going way far down, is I am just going to slip it through this ring that's between these two sections of chain and slide it down on top of this. There we go. Then I'm going to get hold of it with my pliers, and we're going to wrap the dangle in a wrapped loop. So let's get hold of it right where it comes together right here. Now this wire is a little stiffer than the other wire I've been working with from these, so I probably will use pliers to finish this up. Now you'll have noticed that I don't use the pliers all the time, but I do when I'm using really stiff wire like this is. Gives me a little bit more control over it, and I can get the loops a little tighter. So, okay. Now this needs clipped off, the extra wire. Again, being careful not to clip anything extra. Ouch. And tuck this in. And if it needs any straightening, this is the time to do it also. This needs to straighten a little bit. And there we have our dangle on our necklace piece. Come on, slide down here. So there we go. Next step is to put on the chain. So like I said, we have chain reaction number 12 from Jesse James Beads. And these are 18 inches. Now because we already have some room here, the decision has to be, do we want all the 18 inches or do we just want part of the 18 inches? And do we want to start in mid chain or right at the crystal or way up from it? And I'm thinking maybe mid chain so that it's not right there, but it's not way far up either. So we will find where mid chain would be and take off the rest. So in this instance, we will probably be taking it off here and here so that we can put it up here. And that's going to take, you know, obviously a few inches off of this, but that's all right because I don't want the chain, this to be long, because this is going to be adding some length to your necklace as well, obviously. So we're going to take off here to here, which is about 3 inches, which leaves 15. And then this piece itself is a little over 4, so it goes back up to about, it's going to be about 19-20 inch necklace in length. So let's get these links cut off. And then we will get it attached. So we're going to cut it, like I said, here and here. And then we're going to set this bit away because we don't need it. And what we will need to do though is cut this piece now in half again. So it will go in half right up here at the top. So now we have these two pieces with our necklace piece. Come on, baby, go around right. Which will sit here, like so, with the chain coming up either side and our clasp in the top. So we have our 4 small jump rings. These are 2 for up at the top and 2 for down here. And we will open these up. And hook the chain to One chain to one side, the other chain to the other side. Oh, baby, don't be difficult. Now this piece does have a little weight to it, so it's going to try and fall off. So you have to be careful when you're doing this, that you don't have it dump off on you. We've got the chain on the, oh, well, we had the chain on. Trying to escape. Okay, so now we've got the chain on, so we'll just tighten this jump ring up. Now, if you don't feel like it's closing all the way, which I don't, I didn't feel the click, just take your jump rings and with your pliers and work them back and forth just a little bit. While you're working them, bring slight pressure to bring them in until you feel that scrape together, which I have now. So that side's done. So now I'm going to take a look at it and make sure I'm happy with it. It could be squished just a little bit to make it more even there. Okay. So now that we've got this side done, we will open the next jump ring and put the other side on. So get hold of it with both pliers. Give it a little twisting motion. Hook it on here. And then hook your chain in. And close her up. Now that one felt like it came together right away. Give it a good look-see. See if you need to squish one or the other side down a little bit. And now we have it on its chain. And now we just need to put on our clasp. Now, if you wanted this to not be quite straight across, like it's already got a slight bow in it, but you could bow it more just by bringing it up and bowing it to your heart's content. I think I like it right there, so I'm not going to bow it anymore. But what we are going to do to finish this off is to get our magnetic clasp and a couple more of our jump rings and hook those jump rings on over here on this side. So, of course, the first thing we want to do again is to take open one of our jump rings. Put it on to one side of your chain. And then one side of your magnetic clasp. These magnetic clasps may look very tiny, but they are extremely strong. Okay, you get out of my way. Okay. Okay, now that side's on. Just gotta do the other side here. And there we go. Let's see if this jump ring is nicely closed. Looks pretty good, but I'll give it a little squish just in case. And there we go. Our necklace is done. So there is what she looks like. Isn't that pretty? Put this aside. So we are done with this. Have the never throw out your little extra pieces. They make great earrings. You can put just hang a dangle from the end of this, or heck, look there she's. But I usually take just a little hunk of it and put in whatever little bit I need to make an earring that'll match another pair, or just something really, really simple. And anyway, the excess links of the chain make great earrings. So anyway, here is our finished necklace. So you can see it's got the little dangle from the little bit. See, even this is just excess chain. And it matches then with the top. And then of course our dangle matches our sides here. And I love that focal, isn't that pretty? Anyway, let's turn up and we will look at it again, and that's it. She's done. Okie doke. Here we go. Isn't this pretty? It's a pretty little necklace. It's not too horribly long. If you use these magnetic clasps, I can tell you that the easiest way to open them and close them is to give them a little slide. Just slide backwards and forwards. If you try to pull on them directly, they're really stiff. They don't want to. So slide them and they'll come open. So just a little, see if we can see this. See? Isn't that pretty? So delicate, but very, very pretty. Could easily go with a really fancy outfit if you wish to. So anyway, that's been our bar necklace. And we'll take her off again here. And there you go again with our pretty little bar necklace. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I always like making little bar necklaces like this. They're very, a lot of them are a little more delicate. You can use much smaller beads, you can make them as long or as short as you want. You can make it just like a couple of inches long. And it's really pretty. It really adds an accent to something. So I hope you enjoyed this, seeing how to make this necklace. And make it your own. Have fun. Add whatever you want to use for your beads. Use bead soup. It works great. It only needs a couple of each kind of bead. And it doesn't even really need that if you want it to be really asymmetrical. I personally like symmetry. It's my OCD happening, you know. But I love these style of necklaces. And so I hope you did too. And we'll see you later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye.